Hey everyone, in this video we are going to take a look at how we can structure data from a long PDF file, as you can see, and also build a knowledge graph from it, a very complex one, page by page. As you can see from this 120 page 10Q report from NVIDIA, we were able to extract thousand, maybe about 1,000 entities, plus we were able to also extract this entity relationships which we can explore. It's quite complex. Uh, the, the PDF we use this 10Q form for NVIDIA, the latest quarter, and it's 126 pages long. We are able to do this because we process it page by page. So there is no limit to how many pages you can process, and the quality and the exact type of entities and the knowledge graph you create is actually related to the system message we will be exploring. So we can zoom in here and find smaller entities that are around. For example, uh, here we see 3 months ended April 28, 777 million sales and general administrative expenses, for example. On August 25, 2023, there was a majority ruling of a three-judge circuit panel. And here inside, there's quite a lot of interesting information, but you can actually modify the physics of it. I actually turned off the physics for this. If you increase the avoid overlap, then they won't be so mixed in like this. Let's also take a look at this other one, which was only from the 10 pages of the NVIDIA report. So while this is loading, I will say that the code files for this will be available at my Patreon. Link will be in the description. Please check it out. When you do become a patron, you will have access to 250 other projects like this one. We'll give it a second for this to load. So when the knowledge graph is quite complex, can take anywhere from 10 seconds up to a minute to load. But once it's loaded, you can interact with it actually. While this is loading, we'll take a look at the requirements. It's on OpenAI, PyPDF, NetworkX, Matplotlib, NetworkX to form the graph, and PyVis to display it, and TermColor for colorful printing. We could have also used PyPDF too, which would have been better, but we are just using the regular PyPDF since we're processing page by page. Shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, here is the simpler graph, which was done with the first. I actually loaded the same one again. My apologies. Let me load this other simpler one. But at least you were able to see the animation when the physics is not turned off. Right here, it's at the bottom. This loads much quicker, as you can see. And we can zoom in and see the details of the relationships right here. We can also rearrange them, actually, the elastic simulation. So all of this is created automatically. The entities are saved into a JSON file, and the graph is saved into a HTML. You can open it up in your browser as well. So now let's take a look at how we can build something like this. Right at the top, we are doing all our imports, and here we are specifying the number of pages. If you say to none, then we will process all pages of the PDF. Let's actually set it to, let's say 5, so we can see when we run this how it works. Actually, maybe let's begin by running it. I'm going to go ahead and delete these JSON files, and I'm going to copy this graph and delete that too, so we can start from scratch. So we will be processing the first 5 pages of this NVIDIA.pdf. As you can see, it prints which page we are processing. We are using GPT-4o Mini for entity extraction and GPT-4o for building of the knowledge graph. As you can see, this actually builds with each page. It tries to avoid repetitive entities. And then once the entities are extracted from the first 5 pages, then it asks us if we want to create a knowledge graph. We're going to go ahead and say yes. And again, we will go over each entity with their title and descriptions and create the knowledge graph from them. Here are entities were extracted and the knowledge graph is created. Once the entities are extracted, we selected yes to create the knowledge graph. And now we can actually review both the entities themselves. For example, total liabilities as of April 28 were $28 million, and we can also view the relationships here. For example, shareholders equity was $142 million, I guess. Yeah, so let's continue with the code review. But before we begin, if you are enjoying my video, I recommend you check out my website, ecohive.live, where you can find all my videos, and there's a convenient search bar too. And my patrons will be able to download the code files to any of my projects. Just simply click on download code, and it'll take you to the Patreon page where you can download the code. As a patron, you will have access to my courses, say the Streamlit course, Fast API course, and most importantly, 1000x Masterclass, in which I built from scratch using Cursor IDE, trying to teach how to code fast, increasingly speed. So I update this on a regular basis. Currently, it has 13 parts. I also have one-on-one consulting and one-on-one meetings in my higher Patreon tiers. Check those out as well. Now let's get back to the code. At the top, we are doing all of our imports. We set the number of pages to the amount of pages we want to extract. I'm just going to set it to 10 by default. Well, you can actually set it to none if you want all the pages. Then we are going to read PDF with this file name because we are importing PDF reader from PyPDF. Then we load the existing schema if we have any, so you can actually continue extracting from where you left off. And here's the function to save to JSON schema, and we load the important information in line 30. And after that, we read each page and extract important information by looping over the PyPDF reader's pages. Here is where we set the indexing of it. And we do print and extract information from whichever page we're working on. Here, if number of pages were set to none, then we calculate the total pages of the PDF. Prepare the existing schema for reference. We store the existing schema variable of the current information which we have because we're going to use it when we're calling GPT-4. We are calling the chat completions, and for entity extraction, we are using GPT-4o Mini. Here, we are saying that you're a helpful assistant that extracts important information from text and returns as a JSON list. Because we are using JSON mode as a response format, we do have to mention JSON in the system message. Otherwise, you'll get an error from the API. In the user message, extract only the most important essential information from this text and return it as a JSON list is the following schema. Compare with the existing schema and only return the new information not already present. We give it the existing schema. I guess we should put a new line here. Only extract new information not already present in the schema. Should put a new line here as well. And this is how we are defining our schema. Important information is going to be a list. This is crucial. So we can continue this list. This is the essence of how we are extracting over longer PDFs. It's going to return a title, description, a date, and a citation, a 5-word exact phrase from the docs. So this is a very cool to actually get citations. For example, if you go to important info and here we find something like earnings per share, we should be able to search this if the model didn't make any mistakes, like Control F, and actually find this exact phrase. So this is a good way to provide citations. So we can actually confirm that this information actually exists in the citation, where we are saying a 5-word exact phrase from the docs where this information was taken from. And we pass in the text. As we said, we are using JSON mode, and I pass the JSON response here. When the response is returned, add the page's important information to the overall list. We get the important information and extend it with the new info. You can also print the schema right here and save the updated schema. After each page, print the final extracted information. You can comment this out if you didn't want to see it. As you can see, we have printed it here somewhere. Really, yeah, right here. Save the knowledge base to JSON separately. You can, this is a kind of like maybe a step that is not necessary because this important info and knowledge base are replicates, but important info. If you wanted to continue extracting entities, from where you left off, you will be using important info.json. Just remember that. And it will print that knowledge base has been saved to a JSON file. And then here's the function to create the knowledge graph. We form the network using network X with some parameters for its visuals. And we loop over each of the important information, such as the title, description, and date. we add them to the node and then extract entities and relationships from description, and we print an informational print statement. And then here we are using GPT-4o. You are a helpful assistant that extracts entities and relationships from text. And then we are again using JSON. We didn't actually mention JSON here, but we did mention in the user message. We are asking to extract key entities and their relationships from this text. Return as a JSON object. It's going to return entity one, entity two, and relationships that is present across each and every one of these titles. So you can modify this if you wanted a different behavior. Just remember that you can make it your own. And we get the each entity relationships. We loop over them. We get the both entities and the relationships, and we add the nodes and the edges. And we toggle physics true. You can set this to false, and now show the buttons, and we return the net. Now this was just a function. Create knowledge graph. We are going to use it after we ask, do you want to create knowledge graph? Yes, no. If the user answers yes, then we are going to create it and save it as a knowledge graph.html, and we have an informative print statement. So as you can see, it's pretty simple, but it works very well. Like I said, code files for this will be available at my Patreon. Link will be in the description and in the pinned comment. And don't forget to check out my website where you can have access to all my videos, over 350 of them, and 250 of them are available to download for my patrons, any one of them, like I said. And check out my patrons really love the 1000x masterclass if you want to take a look at it. It's available at connoisseur level patrons. I also have weekly AMA meetings for my Architect Plus patrons. Next one is tomorrow, Sunday, August 4th, 12 p.m. But we do this on a weekly basis. And I also started patron perks. These are discounts and free memberships and so on from different interesting providers. The first one, the only one currently we have, is Boring Lounge. They help you actually boost your SEO score for your startup by submitting it to 100 plus platforms. We're offering off to my architect level patrons and $40 off to my connoisseur level patrons. And finally, I do have one-on-one consultations. Those are its different tiers at my Patreon. If you take a look at it, Virtuoso and Prodigy, 1 hour per month and 3 hours per month, respectively. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this, please give it a like and subscribe to get notified of my future videos. I am much more active recently on X platform. My handle is @hive_echo. If you join me there, I post valuable content over there as well. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.